Hello, fellow rebel capitalists. Hope you're well. Let's get right into this chart that I found yesterday. It's a shocking chart that, quite frankly, I'm surprised the Fed actually released. But they did. Why am I surprised? Because it shows that a recession, or maybe even worse, is imminent in 2023. Let's get right over to this chart. But before I do, I want to give a huge shout out to I won't say his entire name here, P. Roberts. I just got a text from Angelique who set up the merch store, and the people who sell the merchandise, they said it was the largest order they had ever seen in the history of them being in business. I won't say how much this individual purchased as far as he bought sweatshirts and t-shirts and mugs and pretty much everything you could possibly buy Rebel Capitalist he bought on the new merch store. So I just wanted to give him a quick shout out because that's the largest order that company has ever seen, not just for my merchandise, but any merchandise. So thank you, P. Roberts. Let's head right over to this chart. And shoot, I had it right up here. Oh, Josh, did we do a screen share, buddy? I guess. Sorry.
You need to share it.
Okay, now we got it going. Let's shoot over to this chart. And again, this is straight from the St. Louis Fed. So Fred is their website. In the past 6 U.S. recessions, an average of 26 states were experiencing negative growth on the eve of the national recession. What is the current state of economic growth among the 50 states? And then, so just before we go to this chart here, and I'm going to expand it so you guys can see it, what they're saying is that on average, the past 6 recessions, 26 states were experiencing negative GDP growth. So not the entire, it's not like it's all 50 states. It's only 26 of them. And maybe that's what their point was. Maybe they inadvertently kind of put their foot in their mouth when they were trying to say that, hey, guys, a recession isn't so bad because it doesn't involve all the states. What they inadvertently did is gave us a chart that shows that recession is most likely right around the corner, no matter how you want to define it. So let's get into this chart that shows, as you guessed, that the average threshold, like they said, is at least 26 states having negative GDP, real GDP. And sure enough, we just crossed the threshold of doom, if you will. And we go back to the cerveza sickness. We go to the GFC. We go to the dot-com bust. We can go to, this was a real estate bust really in the early 1990s. We know what happened in the early 80s. All of these recessions had one thing in common. And again, that's when 26 or more of the states had negative real GDP growth. And we have just gone over that threshold. So it looks like we're either at 26 or maybe 27 of the 50 United States are currently, as we speak, in a state of negative GDP. And if the inversion of the yield curve tells us anything, I would assume that this number will continue to go higher, much higher. That said, it doesn't necessarily happen every time. We go back to 2003, let's call it. And in 2003, that might have been right after 9/11, though. I'm not sure exactly because the dates aren't extremely specific here. Well, no, that would not have been 9/11. Now, this would have been definitely after 9/11 because 9/11 would have been right around here, 2001, obviously. And this might have been 2002, where we got kind of a double dip, if you will. We had that official recession where it looks like 45 or so, 44 of the states had negative GDP. And then we got to a point, let's just call it in 2002, where 27 or so but then we didn't actually have an official recession, and we went right back down to pretty much a historic low. Almost zero states had negative GDP. So it's interesting when you kind of sift through the numbers, because me included, I kind of look at a recession as a national thing, but it's really not. It's kind of more. It can be, but it isn't all the time. The main takeaway from this video is to point out this chart that the Fed just released that shows that on average, when we go into a recession, or we're right on the brink of a recession, we have at least 26 states showing negative GDP. And as of today, January 3rd, 2023, we've crossed that threshold of doom, if you want to call it that. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. As always, make sure that you're standing up for freedom, liberty, free market capitalism. We'll see you in the next video.